Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we kind of expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will not miss another video update here at Cheeky Crypto. Above and beyond those though, do make sure you join us down in Discord. It's the first place we let you know of the ins and the outs of the crypto space, stay ahead of the curve, know about things like FTX before they actually do implode by joining the Discord server. It's the first place we go to, so why not check it out? Link is in the description down below. Let's make a start. XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source. Now, we finally broke out of our ranging market. So for the last few videos, what we've been talking about are these two areas just here. These white boxes, essentially we're just going sideways, right? And basically just kind of bouncing around in between these two levels and nothing terribly too much going on. Now we have done a couple of key things here for XRP. So a couple of things that are worth noting. One, we actually went up broke to the upside. We went up to our kind of 40-cent target. So that's all looking pretty good. And of course, we're entering into the supply zone. So rejection from around here is kind of what I'm expecting to see, at least on this particular time frame. We're going to talk about some of the other time frames in a moment as well. Now, on here as well, we do have the 200 EMA, right? Just see this one here. You can see it was acting as resistance. We broke through it. We turned it to support, we bounced from it, okay? And so looking pretty good from that perspective as well. Now, this particular range in market doesn't necessarily change our views on the bigger macro. It only shows us the micro movement that we actually broke out to the upside, okay? Again, I will illustrate that we are on the 26th of November today, and, you know, the 16th of November, the 18th of November, the 24th of November have all come and gone, and no price shot to the moon. And obviously those dates keep getting delayed. So if you are following influencers who are telling you very specific dates, you know, the 16th of November or the 18th of November or the 24th of November, there's a big flick of a switch and XRP is going to be utilized by all the banks around the world. Those are people who are lying to you. Okay, these are people who simply cannot grasp the understanding of what's actually going on here in the space. So pay attention. That isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. There's a lot of processes in the background, and do join us in Discord. Chris has done an extensive amount of research on XRP and actually has looked at all of the roadmaps with all the centralized banks and can give you kind of a good timeline as to when things would actually roll out if XRP was to be utilized as the bridge currency. Okay, so don't think it's going to happen in 2022. Don't think it's going to happen necessarily in 2023 either. Okay, there's a lot of people making a lot of money on the backs of you watching those videos saying that it's going up to 589 or it's going to $10,000 a coin. Okay, and I know that's going to upset a lot of people. And I would apologize, except I think you have to hear it. It's hard to hear sometimes, but essentially it's all bullshit. So just kind of pay attention to things, okay? Now, with the structure that's going on here for XRP, we can see a couple of notable things. And to make this easier, I'm going to come up into our 4-hour chart because we can see a little bit more of the bigger macro picture. Okay, so we don't have to have all the noise in the middle. But if we go ahead and just pull this over here, we can see that the 1-to-1 ratio takes us a little bit higher within this structure just here. So we would go down from this low point to this high point to this low point just here, and we can reach up to 42.84 cent. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that with a little label right in there and delete the old one out. Okay, so we can see there's still upward potential here for XRP, at least on this micro wave count. Now, this wave count is actually a sub wave count of this one. So we can go in here, and you can see going up there. Okay, now if I go ahead and measure the distance on this, we use the fib tool for that. Okay, we measure this, we're pulling it across to this low point over here. We can see that this area here actually could come up to the typical 1.236. So I'll go ahead and also just put a little dash line right there at 43.37. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a label just up here at 1.2 1.236. Okay, and that is the fib level. Okay, so when it comes to these C waves, typically they're 1-to-1, but sometimes they go to the 1.236, and XRP does love a 1.236. So I will leave that one right up here so you can kind of see that one is also something that we can think about. This means that there's a limited amount of room to the upside. However, we can't just blindly follow what that analysis is telling us. So let's clear this off for a second. One of the things that we see is we're fighting against the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so we turned it as support on our 1 hour, but on our 4-hour, all it's allowed us to do is come up to this level. And you can see that we're getting rejected from here. We're fighting it and we're getting rejected. Okay, so there's limited room to the upside, a lot more room to the downside. Okay, so if I bring all this analysis back, you can see that there's a little bit of a move from this 40.65 at the point of recording up to about 42.84, or maybe a little bit higher towards 43.37. And if I go ahead and measure that distance on the higher side, it's about 6% or so. But essentially all of this would be a B wave movement. You can see that this is where the supply, this is where people are going to sell. So think of supply as resistance, okay, and this is a selling zone. And this is a B wave movement, which means we get rejected from our EMA, we get rejected from the supply zone, and we come down towards the 25 cent. Now, that might have changed just a fraction because obviously, as price moves, things do change a little bit. So let's go ahead and just remeasure this, and we'll take this over, and we're going to put this up to that high point of 42.84 cent. And you can see it's come up to about 26.59. Okay, so we can just adjust this ever so slightly. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the label, and I'll just put a line down here. And I'm just going to draw, actually, I'm going to put it all the way over here, just like so, 26.59, and I'll make it yellow. Okay, this allows me then to say that that's where our C wave low point is likely to be, and is a part of a much bigger play. Okay, so when we take a look at it, we can kind of see all these kind of things. Yes, we've got to move up. We have to move up before we can move down, and the drop to the downside is going to be a lot more than that 6%. It will be about 37. Okay, that again might sound scary to some people, but we are in a bear market. We're in a recession. Inflation is running riot, and these things don't tend to end until the Fed and some of these other governments around the world decide to pivot on what they're doing. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. So we should brace ourselves for some better pricing in terms of XRP and many other cryptocurrency assets as well. So they can kind of see here is a pretty clear picture, at least it's pretty clear to me, that we've got to go up and then we've got to come back down. And once we complete this structure at about 26.59 cent, somewhere in that kind of range down there, we are going to see a pretty significant surge to the upside. And I say significant, it should be a pretty sizable move that we can capitalize on. Very similar to this kind of move down here, for example, where if we take this low point and we take this high point up here, we can see that we moved up 35%, right? And it might have been sideways, but it's moved up there progressively from those low points. And you'll end up with something very similar down here, in my opinion. Now let's talk about the momentum behind the price action. You can see here that there's a limited amount of room to the upside on the 4-hour chart, with momentum actually looking to kind of cool off and to basically pull back down. So for now, this has actually got some room to the downside. We can see the price correct down quite a bit here. But as we kind of progress to the higher time frames, we're still overbought on the 8-hour. And again, if I focus in here, you can see that we got rejected from our 200 EMA on this 8-hour chart as well. On the 12-hour, you can see it better. You can see it a lot clearer here that we basically have got rejected from that 200 EMA, and we're overbought on our stochastic RSIs. Okay, so again, that picture is very, very clear to us that we were support, we broke it, got rejected from it. This is a clear opportunity for a move to the downside. Okay, limited room to the upside, a lot clearer to the downside. As we come to the 16-hour, again, it's pretty much consistent. We're also up in this overbought area. You can see that we're fighting this particular zone. We are looking at this particular previous area of resistance, this previous supply zone just down here where we're in our ranging market. This is now turning a little bit into support, right? We'll see if that holds up. It might not, but if it does, that could be interesting and get ourselves wedged up there. On the 20-hour, same story. We're overbought and the rejection is very clear from the 200 EMA. Let's go to the daily. The daily overbought, and you can see that we haven't even retested the daily 200 EMA. We're just below it. And you can see that we're fighting it and we got rejected and so forth. Okay, so for the most part, there's a lot of room to the downside, a very limited amount of room to the upside. Check the weekly, as well. You can see that we got rejected on the 200 EMA on the weekly chart, and we've still got plenty of room to the downside on these macro timeframes. So there's basically looking like there's a small amount of opportunity on the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart, but essentially anything higher than that is looking like we need to drop down in terms of pricing. So shorting opportunities, possibly, but I don't like trading XRP because it's too unpredictable. It seems like market makers can really push the price on XRP pretty significantly, and therefore kind of gets a lot of people liquidated. So I don't like to trade XRP, specifically on leverage positions. I don't like it. I think it's far too risky. It's high risk, so I don't do that. But there are going to be some opportunities by the looks of it within that realm, if you were able to kind of navigate that space using leverage correctly. Obviously, it's not a newbie thing. It's definitely a high risk kind of thing. So if you're not familiar with those kind of that terminology of leverage, and you're not familiar with how it works, stay away from it. It's just not worth it. You can, of course, do some spot trading, and I think there's 0 fees on BitGet, links in the description down below. So if you are looking for an exchange that we kind of are quite happy with in terms of the current situation, then check out BitGet down in the description below. They do offer leverage trading as well as spot trading, 0 fees on spot, and up to $8,000 in bonuses when you do sign up. So check that out in the description below. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. Do join us in Discord if you're looking for more. We do actually cover so much more in that Discord server. As I said, it's the first place we go to notify you of what is going on in the crypto space. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.